I want to tell you something I haven't fully told before. And it's not because I was hiding it, but because some stories take a long time to find the right words. And actually, this is one of them. I am Cherokee and Irish, and not in the genealogy test that isn't that interesting way that people sometimes say at dinner parties. I mean it in a way that lives inside you, the way it shapes how you move through the world, how you grieve, how you laugh, what silence means to you, what land means to you, and what family means to you. I am Cherokee, the Eastern Band, North Carolina, East Coast, Kentucky, the Cherokee who survived east, who survived in the mountains and the hollows of the river valleys when the world tried to erase them. Those are my people and my blood. And I am Irish of the river, fully, loudly, joyfully Irish on my mother's side. And for most of my life, I belong completely to neither world and sort of partially to both. So let me tell you about my grandmother. She was Cherokee and she loved to cook and she crocheted and worked with her hands. And I know that that might not sound like a lot of profound details, but stay with me here. Her hands were always moving with a hook and yarn and beads, and it was a rhythm that never stopped. And the quiet industry that sort of turned into something while she sat and listened and watched and sort of said very little. She taught me to crochet and to work with beads, and not with a lot of words because it really wasn't her way, but she would show me. She would guide my hands and she would kind of wait until I figured it out. And if I got it wrong, she would just sort of show me again quietly without frustration. And I didn't understand that until I was much older, that she was teaching me more than craft. She was teaching me sort of patience. She was teaching me that making something beautiful takes time and reputation and a willingness to undo what isn't working and to sort of start again. And she was teaching me how to sit with someone in comfortable silence and still be in full relationship with them. And she was also teaching me that the work of your hands is also the work of your soul. And I am 68 years old, and I still crochet and I work with beads. And every time I sort of pick up the hook, I'm sitting with her again. And that's what heritage feels like from the inside. It's not a history book or a category. It is, for me, a woman's hands that are guiding mine, and a lesson that you didn't know that you were receiving. Now, let me tell you about my mother, my redheaded Irish mother. Um, she was a handful. If my Cherokee grandmother taught me stillness, my Irish mother taught me that life is funnier than it has a right to be. That woman just loved a good joke. And not the sort of polished setup, but bump punchline kind, but the kind that finds you in the middle of something hard and reminds you that you're still human. The kind of humor that holds grief and joy at the same time and refuses to sort of let either one win completely. The Irish sort of have a relationship with laughter that I don't think any other culture has quite replicated. It's not escapism and it is not denial. It's something more like survival strategy, a way of saying, yes, this is hard, and it's also absurd, and we're going to find the absurdity and hold it up to the light. My mother gave me that, the ability to laugh at myself, the ability to find the joke in almost any situation, and the ability to sit at a table with people I love and laugh until something hurts. That is also heritage. And that is also something that lives in me that I didn't ask for, but I cannot imagine being without. So today, here I am. Two grandmothers, one teaching me silence, one teaching laughter. Two ways of sort of being in the world that are both ancient and proud and both running through my blood. And the question I've lived for most of my life has been, where do I fit? Because I was never fully Cherokee in the way some people expected Cherokee to look, and I was never fully Irish in the way some people expected sort of Irish to look. I was always absolutely both, and I was always in between. And in between felt for a very long time sort of like a lonely place to stand. I want to be honest about this part because I think a lot of people who come from mixed heritage, whether that's cultures, races, religions, regions, sort of knows this feeling. And I don't think we sort of talk about it a lot. There's a kind of loneliness that comes from not fitting cleanly into any one story. People want to know which one you are. They want a clear answer and they sort of want to put you somewhere that they can understand. And when you say, I'm both, they don't always kind of know what to do with that. Some people question which part was real. Sometimes I've even questioned it myself. When I was younger, I wanted to belong, just fully, clearly, and without all the unambiguity. And belonging to either world was not always available to me. But here's what I have learned, and here's what I know now. And that is being between two worlds is not a gap. It's actually a bridge. I have two ways of knowing, two ways of living, two ways of laughing, two ways of making meaning out of life. I can be still when stillness is the truest answer, and I can find the joke when the joke is what holds everything together. I can sit in comfortable silence, like my grandmother taught me, or I can fill a room with laughter, like my mother gave me permission to do. I am not half of one thing and half of another. I am absolutely both things. And it took me a long time to sort of understand that the betweenness was never the problem. It was always the gift. My grandmother's hands are in my hands every time I pick up a crochet hook, and my mother's laughter is in me every time I find the joke in something hard. And I carry both of them. I am made of both of them. And I am still, at 68, discovering what they left in me. And that is what heritage actually is. Not the history you research or the percentage on a DNA test, or not the box that you sort of check off on a form. It is what your grandmother's hands taught your hands. It's the way that your mother laughed, and knowing how to recognize it now every time it comes out of you. It is ancient, it's personal, and it is entirely yours. If you come from more than one world, if you spent time sort of wondering where you fit, I want you to hear this, and that is you don't have to choose. You are not required to flatten yourself into something that fits more comfortably into someone else's understanding. You are allowed to be fully all of it. The stillness and the laughter, the old ways and the new ones, the heritage you were born into, and the person that you are still becoming. I am both of these things, and I have always been both. And I am finally fully at peace with that. I am Deborah. This is Still Becoming. One day, one conversation at a time. I will see you next time.